Explosive news. Explosive news. Folks, I can't make this up. After last night's debates, this morning's polls, 338, Alberta moves epically like never before to the Liberals under one Mark Carney. Massive change. In fact, 2 more seats flip Liberal in the province of Alberta. Massive through Calgary and Edmonton. And it's all to do with Mark Carney's latest oil transition to China. His new plan, an old plan, a plan of water is not life. We've moved away from international agreements with the United States and actually most of the free world. We've gone with China that for the longest time all the politicians and Canadians knew and believed that China was very dirty. Very dirty. Now, we've made transitions away from all that, destroying our own industries, and snap of a finger, under Mark Carney's new emergency powers, basically, we're abandoning the concept of water is life. What do I mean? In 2020, after Shell Canada begged Canada for 20 years to transition into deep ports, deep, large capacity tanker shipping that the world transitioned into for a cleaner, safer oceans, Canada refused. Canada, for all intents and purposes, not to leave the coast with its old Aframax freighters under the old world system. Canada is now under the umbrella of China FIPA. Dirty China is now going to ship and is shipping Aframax across the ocean to China to deliver their products. Now, it costs tremendously more. It's not reasonable. In fact, Albertans now are paying almost $5 more a barrel than the American system charges to process and then ship your products. Now you're doing it, paying more to supply China against the United States of America. Paying more, much more. Now, any negotiations going forward with the United States is now going to add another $5. So you can take your upset reality of the differential, add your excess shipping costs, your excess risks of the ocean that all Canadian taxpayers now have to insure the rest of the world. Canadians are now liable and on the hook. Your Canadian politicians who own that shipping route, that system entirely, no Canadians or Canadian private companies, it's all your central political classes, from UCP through the Liberal Party of Canada and the Conservative Party of Canada. No free market, all centralized government ownership. That's you, Canada, forever and a day now going forward. Never to change. We've abandoned the allies and gone with China, who is an ally, but they don't operate in any meaningful way with any of the free world, especially when water is life. Not constituted in Canada, none whatsoever. It's limited. Numbered Indian lands are the only lands in Canada, known as the Turtle Island peoples, that match the entirety of the United States. All American Indians and all Americans constitute water is life in all 50 states, in all constituted band reservations in the United States. Now, this is true of the numbered Indians in Canada that don't have any access to any coastal waters. Outside of that, it's all unceded Indians or under the umbrella of water is not life, old world order, where respect for maritime does not exist. The idea of the ocean and love of the ocean is gone. Now, Canada has signed on IMO, promising all these things, created C-48, C-69, but in the link of this title, you can go through China-FIPA deal, negotiated by liberals and conservatives together, bypassing all of the free world. Basically, fuck America, we're with communist China. Plan to ensure the wealthy elite of Canada, the political monarchical first class, get to do whatever they want at the expense of all Canadians and all Canadian First Peoples. Now, I'm not a green nutter, but I do love and respect the idea of the oceans. I think that we should at least match the United States, Russia, OPEC in how we deliver and minimize the impact to ocean waters. I believe that. That, I think, is righteous and fair. I think we should establish shipyards. I think we should make the deep ports. But China doesn't care about any of that. Never has, never will. Just like their dirty coal that everyone should know about. It's been preached about supposedly by all these civil societies who up and threw it all in the garbage in the last 48 hours with one Mark Carney and the new Build Canada Strong initiative. You know, Canada Strong and Free, that's all transitioned to Build Canada Strong, white and yellow and red. Those are the new color schemes. We've thrown away all of that we profess to be in a snap of a finger. Snap of a finger. Albertans are massively behind this because it's important that Canada gets what it wants. Sorry, I'm watching something here. I don't know, I'm not going to say Ogo Pogo. I'm looking on Lake Ontario. I don't know what I just saw there. That was incredible. I apologize. A big fish? Wow. Yikes. Okay. Or I'm seeing things, but that went. Anyways, this is where we've gone, everybody. It's unreal, unbelievable, unfathomable that Canadians would flip like this in the China One policy, amalgamating us. I'm going to say another thing here. I'm from Alberta. I know Alberta very, very well. I've toured all of Alberta in its entirety. Many, many reserves. All of the numbered people in Alberta. I may not have made it all the way through Métis. Some of that, not all of it. Not of the Northern Lands. But I've also toured this entire country, Canada. I've got nearly 65% of the U.S. in states completed. I've gone through a good 65% of the states. I can't say the West Coast or all of the South. I haven't done that yet, and I need to do that. And then there's some eastern states that I have to do. I haven't been to Florida yet, even though I want to go there bad. But other than that, I've done a lot of the United States, all of Canada. Outside of Alberta, I have never seen so much monitoring, camera systems, so much government monitoring of people's ever anywhere else in North America thus far. I'm not super worldly traveled, but I am very, very well traveled in all of North America now. I've got a vast majority of it. And all of Canada that I've seen so far, most of the United States, I've never seen anything comparable to that which I see of Alberta. And I think before I leave, I'm going back to Alberta to go see my kids, spend a week with my family before this job's over. And I'm going to film the GTA. I'm going to go through a lot of towns, cities, and I'm just going to turn the camera in a good 2-hour drive through the GTA running alive, where I drive through towns, cities, major, Toronto, all of it, many, many municipalities from small town to major cities in Ontario, to show you that there are no camera monitoring devices, really anywhere in any kind of minority, I guess is the word to say. And then when I get back to Alberta, I'm going to do a tour of small town after small town and major cities and show you how every set of lights, every single stop sign has the same Chinese monitoring devices, cameras, monitoring your speeds, monitoring your entry and exit into intersections, as well as if the authorities are searching for you, they can access all the cameras and find you immediately. That is Alberta. Now, then I'm going to showcase that video from Hong Kong that showed the Hong Kong dissidents knocking down all those surveillance cameras and monitoring devices at every intersection, and show you how Alberta, Canada, has been entirely changed into a communist reality, not found anywhere else in North America, only found in one other place that I know of in the world, communist China. I mean, from your smallest communities to your very large cities, even every stop sign, a 4-way or even just a 2-way, you'll find these monitoring devices everywhere. Alberta's the longest running inception into China. It's become a staple for Albertans. They accept it. They think it's normal now. It's not. I can tell you, I have not found anything remotely close to that anywhere in Canada or the USA. Anywhere. We're talking major cities. I can go through Chicago, New York. You don't find any of that. Toronto, a massive municipality. You don't find any of that. Only found in Alberta, and I mean from the smallest community to the very largest, does not matter. It is highly monitored, excessively, and entirely modeled after communist China. That's what was done in Canada and Alberta first and worst. And now we're seeing a transition of all those resources to go to China in epic volumes, ignoring all kinds of international law, throwing our best friends, the United States, in the garbage, siding with China first over USA. We will never be able to go back. No matter what anyone tells you, we're never going to be able to go back with the United States. And just answer me this, every Canadian and Albertan, you think you're winning. You're paying to ship your oil to China right now. How are you going to negotiate anything with any of your resources with the United States going forward with natural gas, LNG, and oil, other than providing USA a deeper discount now? How are you going to do that when you, in your face, America, made a choice to pay an extra $5 a barrel to see oil go to China in the face of America, siding with China during an international trade spat? You chose China, and you're actually paying and subsidizing China so that your politicians stay rich and transfer the wealth. Already Alberta under Danielle Smith and Brian Jean, Minister of Energy, have transitioned Alberta's royalties into their coffers, into their need to have products for themselves, taking your money, putting in their coffers. Alberta's tremendous deficit has ballooned past $10 billion. Now, no, I can't prove this. I can only show you the math, and I can show you the formula and the transition away, paying the extra nearly $5 a barrel per oil on top of the now deficit of over 10. It puts us to somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 to 15 billion. Now, 2025, I've already upgraded my numbers, which means over 20 billion by 2026. And again, what will be the path forward with USA when they say, you paid to ship to our war narrative against China, you sided with them, and then you paid for your resource to go there that at an even bigger discount putting oceans at risk. You threw away all environmentalism. You threw it all away because it's about you, your wealth at the expense of the people. Now, in large groves, Canadians are jumping on board with this, saying, fuck America, we're one China policy. We're at one with one China policy. You roll with a pig, you become a pig. You roll with communism, you become communist. This is the future that I don't think Canadians realize. Amazingly, we go back in time to 2011, just 14 years ago, and Canadians in vast majority were deathly against such a proposal and knew not to do that. They were no, no, no. And here we are, just 14 years later, in full embrace, as it's the right thing to do. Seat projections after last night's debate, Alberta's explosively moved in Edmonton and Calgary to the Liberals. So big, in fact, because waiting and seat counts are lower out west, that they moved 2 seats Liberal. 2. An epic level never seen in Alberta history since, before World War II. Think about that. Alberta moved more Liberal than they have since before World War II. No accident, as we're moving away from the allies of World War II. And this is not only USA, this is Russia, all the OPEC members, all of them. It's amazing. It's terrifying, really, at the betterment of China and Chinese expansion globally. A clear message from all political class, but led by Mark Carney, who's lied to everybody about European Union. We'll never get that deal. If you missed Donald J. Trump and Italy yesterday, wow, and where we're going with the EU, which is nowhereville for Canada, never will go. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, as Canadians, I guess you choose. Do you want to be with USA or do you want to be with China? Again, we've chosen, everybody, undeniably, to pay an extra $5 a barrel to see China get that, then deal with USA. You've already given up $5 more a barrel than you pay to USA through USA's system. You say, fuck USA, they're not fair, but they are fair. You don't have the deep ports. You don't have deep capacity shipping, 1 million to 2 million plus capacity tankers. You chose not to do it. Your government said, no, we own those Aframax. We're the elite. We're not going to follow international law because it takes away from our coffers. We're not going to go private enterprise. We own it all. We're the political class. We're the centralized government. We're not for the Canadian people. We're for our elite selves, like military dictatorships throughout the world, like what was former South Africa under apartheid, what was Nazi Germany, socialist and fascist. People always misunderstand that. Sadly, so does Americans in large swaths. They always go, well, it's communism, but these are really socialist fascists. Russia understands this exceptionally well beyond any other nation. Donald J. Trump and the GOP, at least in a good majority of Republicans now, are seeing it for what it is. We're watching Americans go, wow, we caught you, Canada. We know what you are. And Donald J. Trump has highlighted exactly what Canada is and where we're all going. It's terrifying. It's scary. We're really screwed. Any First Peoples out there, I'm getting a lot. Oh no, we got to do this. We got to do this. You have sacrificed your souls as people if you're going with this liberal Canadian narrative. You talk about your country and getting it back and all this, but this is the exact opposite under the Indian Act, and absolutely an affront to everything of your people's society entirely, especially in Waters' life, because that is North American Indian, and that does not transition away in Canada from the American Indian. And all 50 states have adopted that American Indian reality and truth. Water is life. You can't go into a single state of the union in the USA without going through water is life. Now, when we look outside of, yes, Western Canada, not coastal BC, we're only talking about numbered Indian overlap. Outside of numbered Indian lands, which are not coastal, nowhere in Canada, nowhere coastal. Outside of numbered, water is not life. Canada has always, forever and a day, never cared 2 iota about poisoning water, as we see over and over and over again. And now, in global shipping, they are doing the same thing. They've chosen that China initiative, that path forward, which is against most of the world today. All of the European Union, absolutely of the United States of America, of Russia, and all of OPEC entirely. That should scare you right there, but it doesn't. It doesn't for Canadians. They're gravitating to it. All about colonialism, old world order, and everyone's getting behind Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre. They really are the same thing anyway, and I provide in the link of this title a click easy for everybody. I've been following this for more than 10 years in extreme. I don't think there's anybody else who's presented as much, and I clearly lay it out for all of you this morning in the link of this title, and of course the post before that. This video will be toast in a few months, but Facebook destruction, but it's important, it's critical, but all those slides are left for everybody forever and a day. It's just sad where I see my country today, and so many blind, so many in bed with the evil. Snap of a finger, socialist, fascist mentality takes over. Canadians would run straight to communism before they'd ever wish to be free, a we the people republic. Do not trust Alberta separatists, the ones today, the new narratives today. A lot of people in statehood are not really for statehood. I'm seeing that, and this doesn't just transcend the Alberta statehood movement. It's also in our group too. I see it. I see the mental disease of really socialist and fascist peoples institutionalized into believing it, that would sacrifice their own mother, their own children, for the mighty dollar and a colonial narrative. It's sick, it's wrong, it's a slave's mentality, it's a age-old love of the master. It's what Malcolm X referred to as the house Negro versus the field Negro. And unfortunately in Canada, the house Negroes have taken over in that mentality, and the proverbial slave Negroes are under the whip tremendously more than ever before and not able to see it. It's scary. It's detrimental. Things with USA are never ever going to be the same, and we are going to move into a level of trade embargoes. That's coming within the months ahead, year ahead. USA is going to respond, and USA is showcasing the world that look at Canada. All a fraud, all garbage. This is systemic. It's as bad as what was South Africa. It's as bad as what was Nazi Germany. And there are other examples, but none older and fresher and longest running than Canada itself, who presents itself on any given Sunday. Absolutely. And it's terrifying. To me, it's terrifying. And I'm living it. And it was a shocker yesterday. I had a good sleep at least after the shock. And yeah, that's where we're at. Share, share, share. Get this video out there. Link in the title. It's a lot to read and go through, but I've streamlined it for everybody and broke it down into what you need to read and know where your crown's going, what they're willing to do. And the bragging last night, if you missed the debates about Donald J. Trump's going to be gone in a few years and we're going to continue on. And it's like, wow, they don't understand in their delusional world that Donald J. Trump will be gone, but America will continue on. America's codified that once you slap America, it won't matter, Democrat or Republican, they're going to have it out for you for the rest of Canada's days, for all of them entirely. And those four leaders up on stage bragging about the destruction of Donald J. Trump and the Republicans. You are a mental midget, and that all Americans, right or left, will want to destroy you. Anyone who watches those English debates and hears that out of the mouths of all four of Canada's leaders from all spectrums, it's game over for Canada. And anyone who doesn't see that, I don't know what to tell you. We're in big, big trouble, and trade will never be the same. And if you think strengthening China will somehow make you better, again, you roll with a pig, you become a pig. You roll with communism, you become a communist. That's truth. That's history. Credible, real, verifiable. You can't pull a single example in the world of anyone who went that way, who has a success story. Not a single success story. Not a one. That's my video. Share, share, share. Get it out there. It's critical. Critical.